VSR video breakdown of Corbin Sholly today. Through the off season, we did not do the weekly breakdowns just because I took a series of clips of them, whether it was once a week or a couple times a month, just to look at the pattern recognition that we were doing with the body, just really working on changing some stuff. Did a ton of delivery work, so took some time off of throwing, got arms rested, and then have ramped them back up to get them in shape for the season. And we tested last week just to see where we were as far as velocity from 12 weeks ago, and some of the results that we got, this guy especially, is pretty ridiculous. So gonna go over just some stuff as far as delivery and some of the things that he does individually and address those things. Okay, so this clip right here was, I think, the first week of November. This was the last time I had them throw off of a mound, and this was just to get this video. And then, like I said, from there, took some time off, did a lot of talent work, did some delivery walkthroughs and all that kind of stuff. Okay, you can see one thing you're going to notice with his delivery is that with this backside stack, which even as recent as a few months ago, I told these guys how important this was, because I can't believe how many of these guys had similar things going on, just rushing everything down the mound. I mean, no chance to get an arm in position, nothing. So this stack was just kind of a way for me to exaggerate to these guys that I wanted them to stay back, and then I knew that once they knew how to control their body, the acceleration factor of getting down the mound would be a lot easier for them to adapt to, as opposed to the other way around. So like I said, I've seen some pretty ridiculous results with these guys, so I would like to think that it's working. One thing that he did not do when he first started with me, as he kind of started in separation down the mound, he basically had no knee flexion. And this dude is a crazy good athlete, and so I knew that since he wasn't using his legs, that he probably wasn't creating his best product down the mound. And even now, we still need to firm up his front side, his land leg a little bit, but he's doing such a good job now of driving down the mound that this video is nowhere near what he's doing with his lower body now. This clip is not necessarily indicative of some of the stuff that I saw happening with him regularly. One thing that I would see with him is somehow or another he would leak in with this elbow kind of out of 90 a little bit. You can kind of see how that arm's starting to go back already. This is actually a pretty good clip, but I want to just explain what some of his tendencies were. I would see this elbow kind of start to creep in, and as he went into external rotation there, internal rotation with the shoulders, external with the arm, but as he went into external rotation with his arm, I would see it happening way too early, basically. He'd start creeping in right about there, okay? So I knew that I had to really work to get him to stay back, but that was gonna be a challenge because, as you can, I don't know how good it is on the video, but I don't know if you can see his foot. It's like underneath him. He's not even pushing out, it's like back that way. So I knew that it was gonna be a challenge as far as getting him to drive down the mound and also delay his shoulders. But like I said, dude was already legit before he started with me. Really good athlete. I knew he had the propensity to do it, and I don't want to make it sound like his mechanics weren't good before, but I just knew that he had way more of a product to create, and he showed me that over these last from the last 12 weeks to up to this last week when I tested him. It was just crazy. So Um, as you can see right here, really no separation. As that hip peaks right there, shoulders coming in, goes into acceleration. Then you can see, like I said, we got to work on firming this up just a little bit. But if we get more backside drive, then the front side gets a little leniency as far as not being so firm, but we want to do the best job we can of getting both. Okay, so like I said, elbow was creeping in a little bit, no backside push. Okay, so we started doing some stuff that I call delivery walkthrough. Okay, this is just a step-by-step, literally step-by-step of getting these guys in a position. Once again, with the stack, Corbin understands now that now that he understands the controlling aspect of his body, that he can accelerate and explode down the mound earlier. So just going to preface that. But the whole point of this right here, now you can see his foot is going down the mound, but there's really no way to do this in real time, so I figured that this was probably the next best thing. He's going to go into this rock thing right here. As he rocks forward and rocks back, I'm kind of simulating him pushing down the mound, so to say. And all that I wanted these guys to focus on was this. Pushing that foot up and delaying the shoulder back is really what I wanted him to do. So if I go back really fast and look at the angle in which he's pushing, okay, I mean, at that same stage in his delivery right there, I mean, let's look at this. Go from here up through his femur. I mean, we're looking at that, okay? So that may be a little off, maybe closer to 130, okay, but you get the point. So as we go in and we look at this now, even just this, I mean, this is a stagnant example of what it's like to actually get down the mound. You can see, even just right there, he's grasping it, and that arm, even though maybe the separation aspect isn't a ton as far as the hip axis and the shoulder axis, you can tell right here. Okay, and that's probably a little generous, but it's still a ton more than it was. All right, so anyway, I'm just gonna get through, just kind of walk through some of these, just show some of the progressions we did. This is the first time we did towel work and did everything together. But you can see right here, now that angle's not really where I want it to be, but you can tell how much more that hip is pushed out. Still got that angle right there. We're probably looking at, I'm gonna say it's closer to about that. I'm coming parallel down his leg, somewhere in there. But still doing a lot better job of creating that separation, is getting that backside push. Okay, so this is his first flat ground coming up right here. Once again, like I said, he understands that this stack, we can get a lot more of this now. Kind of down the mound and toward the target all at once. And he's athletic enough to keep his positioning and still get his arm on top now, so we've already been working on that. Other thing that I want to bring up just really fast is this. That right there we have talked about, also have addressed. You can tell right here, I mean, he's throwing this way, and we've got his foot pointing back that way. that ultimately, even if he steps straight, he's going to be stepping there, ultimately creating a crossfire with his throw. Okay? So he understands that, fixed it. But you can tell right here, he's going to step straight from where his foot's telling him where his line is. But he's still got to go there. All right. But you can tell, look at the backside push. Wow. Ton better. Way better. Great job. Arm not leaking in at all. In fact, look how far back his arm is. Oh my gosh. Now, if he pushed his hip out and got his got this line, like I said, better, his arm's not going to be back as much, but the separation aspect will start to create more velocity, and the separation directional aspect of that position will create more velocity, and he understands that also. So, going into this, which was his test day, which just was unbelievable. Wait until you see the backside push of this. This is just insane. So going up into his stack, you can see already as he's going forward, or as that leg's going up. Now he could probably go a little bit more, but as the leg goes up, we're starting to clear out just a little bit, which I like. Getting into that leg, could probably get a little more knee flexion. Got to get his butt down just a little bit. Get his quad engaged a little bit more. We definitely don't need to be vertical through here. You can tell that he's still kind of holding his weight back in here. But I do want to see just a little more knee flexion through here. Okay, so this is the most impressive thing that he did through the off season, and not only did it show to me, but it showed on the radar gun. Before that elbow starts pulling in, now I know we've addressed this, and on test day, I basically let them do their thing. I didn't speak too much mechanics. It was a competitive day for them, and I just wanted him to rock and fire. So whatever happened, happened, and he was obviously doing something right based on the figures I'm going to write up on the screen here in just a second. But yeah, that line we got to clean up just a little bit through there, okay? But this is my biggest thing. You can tell that weight that he had back there, he has accelerated forward. Hips are going to peak about there. Now shoulders going, but he has so much more separation. It's crazy. Getting out, like I said, need to work on just a little. Getting that front leg to drive back at him, getting striding out just a little bit longer, okay? But this dude has put the work in. I honestly don't think I've missed more. I don't think I missed him more than twice this entire offseason. So in the last 15 weeks, I've seen this dude every single week. And it shows. You know, I try to tell people all the time, it's not so much that it has anything to do with me. It just has to do with putting the work in. So his wind-up velocity from last time, his first test was 11.6. His average mound velocity, 71.8. Okay. His high, 74. Sorry, 74. Okay. Pull down, average velocity, 76.4, and his high was 77. So pretty good. I was stoked for him. Kid's only a freshman. So he's well on his way to throwing. He's got a chance to be upper 80s into being maybe a 90-mile-per-hour arm by the time he's a senior. But anyway, so basically the next time he got up on the mound and threw at the gun, I was just blown away. And by the way, I use a stalker too. Most pro scouts use it. It's a very expensive gun. It does not read hot. So I know that the product that we're seeing is legit. I have them do about a 10 to 15 throw test, and that average gives me, through that number I take their averages and I take their highs. So basically the next time he got on a mound, he was 76.4 average, which is a gain of 4.6 miles per hour in 12 weeks. Okay, pretty crazy. His high was 77, which was a 3 mile per hour gain, and was also the high of the time that he pulled down of his pull downs from 12 weeks prior. His pull downs are pretty crazy, and I'll get into those in just a second, but the pull downs to me are indicative of how athletic this kid is and his potential on the mound. So when I'm talking about stuff like this, where he's kind of getting himself in here and getting himself a little kind of traffic jammed and getting this line going and stuff, I mean, this dude can throw 80 miles per hour on the mound. Like, I have no doubt. But we got to get him in position, and he's got to get away from that line, his direction going here being his go-to. And that starts with just positioning, like I've told him, I mean, just the thought process of getting down the mound in a very directional manner. And this right here, this deal in here is my job to fix for him, which we will go into. But once again, I don't want my guys biting off more than they can chew, and I'm also working with 14 to 15-year-old kids, so I'm doing the best I can to, like I said, not put too much stuff on him. But anyway, pull downs, he had we were at an average of 81.4, which was a 5 mile per hour gain of his last time. And then we had a high of 83, which was a 6 mile per hour gain of 12 weeks prior. Just nuts, man. Just absolutely crazy. Dude is going off in here. So we tested on, January 29th. So I believe that was like almost exactly 12 weeks apart. I could not be prouder of this dude. He puts the work in, like I said. And I know this was a lot of talking, but I had to go over off-season stuff, where we are now, where we need to be going, and to tell my guys how proud of them I am, that they've put the work in, and the ones who work and the ones who show up, the results are there, man. So keep doing it, and moving forward, I will start to get these guys up on video weekly and get them up on the channel. All right, guys, thanks.